where we share with you what we've been fighting quite hard for behind the scenes over the last year or so. Mandy, do you mind joining over here? This is Mandy, who's my co-founder at ICE, and is similarly, well, probably been doing more of the work. I get to take the glory, and Mandy does the work. So it works for me. I'm quite happy. So, as you probably already gathered, the objective tonight was not to create like a business networky style environment. We're not announcing a business hub tonight. That's not what this is about. For those who don't know, we opened the centre in Caerphilly 5 years ago last week, with the objective of bringing together like-minded people. So we've got this beautiful campus. Mic's on. A beautiful campus. Has anyone been to Caerphilly? Does anyone know where Caerphilly is?
Yeah,
cool. Oh, you're a local. Nice. We've got this beautiful campus with amazing trails in every direction up the mountain where you can go for a run if you're having a really stressful day or take your bike out. We've got these 3 buildings. Britannia House we started. Then a couple of months after that we took the lodge. Then we took some more space and then the Octagon. And now we've got about 170 companies based with us. About well over 300 people doing really cool things. And we're in what we think is quite a beautiful part of the world. But in that period, the most important thing really is that it's about bringing together like-minded people who are doing things that really matter to them. And as we'll talk more about over the course of the evening, that's really what we're setting out to achieve, is people who can do something that really matters to them. So there's the kind of headline stuff like the number of jobs created and the wages paid into the local community, and that's all really important. But as we'll explain in more detail later, that support network or that protecting the founder and realizing what they go through is really crucial and critical to what we do. And one other point, actually, the 95% collaboration. We don't really talk about this too much because it's unbelievable, but within our community, 95% of our members have commercial collaborative agreements with at least 2 other members. So it becomes an environment where you trade and where you have opportunities brought to you just by being connected to the community. And that can be quite powerful when you're in that state of limbo at the start and not really knowing whether it's going to work out or not. But the way we see it, the modern economy is incredibly confusing and tricky to navigate. And for a lot of people, not only is it scary, but actually it's pretty destructive. So this idea that we all just sit on our MacBooks and somehow make enough money to pay our mortgage and feed our families, that's pretty intimidating, right? Like, most of us can't even afford a MacBook. So to try to tell people that that's what work is these days, it's not cool. And it's very exclusive. For me, as a white man who speaks fairly clearly, it's great, right? But that's not that's not society, and it's not indicative of what the modern workforce should be, in our opinion. And at work, I mean, how many people love their job? Cool. That's the difference with having entrepreneurs in the room. Work should be something that, when it's the thing that we commit the most energy to, it should be something that really, really fulfills us. And for a lot of people, they think that's a bit of a joke, and that's unbelievable. And we've seen the other way, so we believe that it's possible. And skills. I just want to talk about skills for a second. Who knows what their skills are? Okay, right. So the vast majority of us have no idea what our skills are. And I don't know what my skills are. I've got no idea, right? But we expect people to be able to identify what they want to do with their futures based on this abstract concept of what skills are. And I think it just creates this really terrifying concoction of knowing what to do with your life and knowing what your purpose is for being on this planet. So this boy band got together about a year ago. We tried to record a couple of tracks. It did not go well. Dave is not a great drummer. And we started talking about, okay, so what would that be? So in Wrexham, we could see this amazing community of people, and we could see that there was something building and something forming, but it didn't really feel like everyone felt they were part of that. And there seemed to be this extreme between those who were part of that and those who weren't. So I did what I thought was the right thing to do, and I wrote a blog, and it got a bit of attention, and the purpose of this was, it was actually Carl, who's in the room. It was his birthday, and we went out for a meal And then we went out for some drinks afterwards. And I'd not been back to Wrexham, I guess, at that point for about 6, or certainly hadn't been out for a night out. And everyone that we could overhear the conversation of was saying, Wrexham's such a shithole. And I just couldn't believe how that was just like a standard thing. I mean, everyone's heard that phrase uttered, right? That's a phrase that everyone has heard uttered. And that just doesn't compute. It's what we make of it. And I found that really frustrating. So, and the other thing I should say, there's a lot of cynicism, okay? And if anyone's, a lot of people will be coming into this with an element of cynicism, and that's fine. But we need to cut that cynicism out. If we really want to see a change, we need to recognise when we're being cynical and when we're being positively critical. Because every single time a post goes in the Wrexham Matters group, doesn't even matter whether it's about the council, someone will vote it's the council's fault. Right? And we'll start a game, okay? So every time someone sees in any comment it's the council's fault, just like it. And let's just draw attention to it, because it's the same old thing every single time. And do you know what? Mandy will attest to this. The council have been beyond amazing for us in this process. They've been there more than they should in some cases. And the council really want to help. But if we make them do everything, they're going to fail. Fundamentally, they don't have the capacity, they don't have the skills, they don't have the resource, and especially now. So the more we put on the council, the more they're going to keep failing. And it's on us, I believe, to step in and help out. So, what are we going to do? I'm going to hand over to Mandy because I feel like I'm just ranting now. But we're going to be announcing a couple of things. Okay, Mandy? Everyone's got 30 seconds, okay?
Your mother's in the room, be respectful. Yeah, so the first thing we're going to do is get a 5 to 9 club started. Our 5 to 9 club's been very, very successful down in Caerphilly. We're on our 5th cohort now. And it's a club where we allow people to explore the idea of enterprise, explore the idea of starting a business, or if you've got a business started already, you could be running it out of your back bedroom, you could be doing it part-time, you could be doing it when your kids are in school, or for whatever reason. And this club gives you a time out of the normal day to come along to a club and learn some of the basic skills. It's a 12-week course, it's free. We're going to have 20 places open, ready to rock on the 2nd of August, on the 2nd of August, and it's going to be held here, and we'll just cover everything from just the basics. Have you put a business plan together? Do you really know enough about social media and marketing? Do you know what insurance you should have? But it's very collaborative. Only an hour of that 5 to 9 period is classroom activity. The rest is networking, it's having a bit of supper, and it's just, again, like Gareth said, being around people with like-minded objectives and ideas to take it forward. So this will all go out on the email or website, internet, over the next day or two, but I do have some forms if you're interested in that club. And Dave, we can't thank Dave over there, Dave, and Un Deg Un, because they are sort of housing us while we get our act together and get our own building sorted up here. Very exciting. We've put, through our cohorts, we've put about 75 people through the programme. Over 50% of those people have started their businesses, growing their businesses. I could name at least a dozen cases where people are now employing staff because their businesses are growing so quickly. So we're pretty proud of that one. One statistic I'm always happy to share is actually it's always a 90% female group. It's not that we exclude men, but obviously maybe after being home all day, doing something different for themselves seems to be very, very important. But that's just because I'm very keen on also getting some women in enterprise. And then the other thing is that we need some staff to help with this new centre. So today we will be putting a shout out, and again, later on, for a community manager. Now, this community manager is, to me, the key role of this hub. They need to create the environment. They need to maintain the environment. You know, make sure it's active, make sure it's inclusive. That we are looking after all people. You know, our centre in Caerphilly, we have from 18 to 65, I don't think they mind me saying, doing all sorts of things, you know, from builders to high-tech businesses to event organisers, music, social enterprises. So the community manager needs to make sure that that all gels well together and that we're providing the support, the right support for all of those people. It'll be very activity-based. And we will be connecting with external partners. We'll be bringing in the rest of Wrexham to help us. We are being supported by Business in Focus and Business Wales. They'll be playing a key part in the centre. And I will definitely be knocking the doors of the banks and insurance and accountants and lawyers out there to come and help and provide some support and mentoring for anybody that comes into the centre. So keep an eye out for that, and again, if you know anybody that is interested in that role, then I'd be happy to hear from them. And back to Gareth.
Cool. So,
I'm sure people can hear me now. Thank you very much. Brendan, this is
seamless, Brett.
So the other thing is we are opening our waiting list for our members. So when we launch, we want to launch with 20 founder members. Those spaces will be fully supported, fully funded for 12 months, and it will give you a space to work from, access to our events, and the support and structure that comes with being a part of the community. So there's formal support, which is workshops, mentoring, and that kind of support, but the biggest part really comes from that connectivity with that community, and that's what we really drive to achieve. Again, if you haven't already, drop your email down and we can put you on the waiting list if you're interested in being part of that. For us, it's about whether we believe they're going to do it.
Okay, so if I were a student that's interested in being involved in this and is setting up a business which is already started to, you could apply.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's not about how fast you want to grow, it's not about whether you want to rule the world, it's about whether they're really committed and whether they know and they're aware of what they're getting into. The location. So, I did check with a couple of people about whether you can work out what it is from this. But we're not able to announce it yet, unfortunately, which is real sad. But we were going to brush it. I can see a few people squinting. No guesses. So it's going to be in the town centre, smack bang in the middle of the town. It's going to be open late, as we've said, with the 5 to 9 clubs. And it's going to be multi-use. Again, we're not announcing a business centre. That's not the purpose of what we're trying to do here. The purpose here is around starting to create an environment where we can ask some questions about what we want to achieve as a town. So when we're having these bigger conversations about, there was again, Rob reported the £275,000 right investment into the town centre. How do we create an environment or a forum where we can start to put forward suggestions and ideas rather than it turning into a squabble on the comment feed about what the council should be doing better? It's not just the council's responsibility. So the purpose of these spaces is not just co-working, it's not just a hub for business, it's about how we can get some of those ideas really aired. Find out first on Wrexham.com. But tonight, you know, and again, there's so many people that we're grateful to for the support over this period, whether it's Business Wales and Welsh Government and Kent Skates in particular for taking a huge risk on us. We're a very small company. We haven't been kind of doing it in the traditional way. This isn't about trying to do something in the traditional government way. This is about trying to do something which is different. And I think we're all at the point now where we feel like we need something different. And really that belief and that support from the team at Welsh Government, and Adam's here today, and from Business in Focus with Jill, and from the Cabinet Secretary himself, has been very, very supportive. But also the University, Glendower University, have been incredibly supportive. The College Cambria, the businesses, Un Deg Un, this isn't the Oscars. What I'm saying is everyone we've spoken to has been supportive and has got why we're trying to do what we're doing. And this is an invitation for you to feedback. What do you think the space should be? We have a cliche in Caerphilly that people don't work in our space, we work in their space. And again, it sounds cheesy, but it's really important. The space has to be what the community wants it to be, not what we think it should be. It's not a private members club. It's very much about creating that space. And hopefully our members in Caerphilly will confirm that. But there are some huge challenges, and in my opinion, really exciting challenges that are on our horizon. All of these new technologies that are coming through are generally reported as being negatively disruptive, but this is really exciting. And actually a lot of these opportunities are happening in Wales right now. So for people who are trying to find a new career or who are trying to find something satisfying, I mean, just take your choice, right? It feels like such an exciting time. And that's not to mention the health tech innovations that are coming through, social challenges, environmental challenges that we're aware of. So for this to really be a time of opportunity, how do we make sure that that's clear for everyone? So the 5 to 9 club starts on the 2nd of August, and we're expecting to be able to open in October of this year. And you'll be glad to hear that's the end from me. Thank you very much. I think we've got like 5 minutes for questions, but then we're going to be sticking around anyway. So if anyone's got any questions they want to ask. Mark.
Hi, I'm Mark Gibson. So Gareth, thank you very much for inviting us today. But sort of in your hub, how many people do you actually hope to have in your first hub?
So in Wrexham, we're hoping to have 100 businesses. What we've seen in Caerphilly, it works out about 2.4 people per business. But we're not expecting them to be with us for as long as they would be in Caerphilly. So between 100 and 120 people is probably what we're looking at.
So again, when you join your hub, will you be then sort of working with them on like an exit strategy to move out of the hub and grow?
It depends on what their ambitions are. Yeah. So we don't set any expectations at the start about you need to spin out at this point or anything like that. It's very much about what they're looking to achieve. So it will vary based on their ambitions.
How is the IC different from the IC in Caerphilly to better meet the needs of the local enterprise?
The main difference is that we're in the town centre as opposed to out of town in Caerphilly. So the idea is that this will be much more of a pop-in, drop-in kind of environment rather than it being a destination. So the hope is that it's somewhere you can pop into between meetings or somewhere you can pop into between meeting clients. But also that the events will be much more open to the public. So a big part of our motivation putting in the town centre is that you can pop in quite easily after work to come along to our workshops. So it's not quite a strong belief of mine is that this whole create your business, create your job, start a business tomorrow, it's a load of rubbish. Most people just can't afford to do that. Most people in Wales have under £500 in their bank account at any one time, right? Like over half of people in Wales. So this whole it creates false pressure. It puts pressure on people that you should be able to do that, and that by not doing that you're not living the dream, and it's just a load of rubbish. So for us, it's very much about people being able to work towards a point where it's realistic, and that's the part of the plan of having a lot more stuff in the evening so that they can jump in after work or after college, after uni, and start to develop that idea and test it and see whether it's something which is worth pursuing.
What goes on outside the 12-week course?
So this 12 weeks is just about the 5 to 9 club, but at ICE, I mean, in a standard week, we've got a mixture of everything. So we do funding breakfasts every other week, where we bring investors in or different kinds of funders. A lot of what we try to do is try to build relationships. Again, sounds ridiculous, but like understand what their motivations are. So as an investor, how do I qualify whether it's worth me having a conversation with you or not? So we arrange funding breakfasts where you can learn about what their motivations are and almost pre-qualify whether it's worth having a follow-up conversation with them. So we have those. We're planning on doing them here. Every Tuesday and Thursday at ICE, we have an accountant, a lawyer, an IP attorney, an expert who, the way I see it, you'd be terrified if you picked up the phone to call just by Googling someone. We have them in the hub. You can have half an hour with them free of charge just to pick their brains and kind of offload and try and get some input. So we'll be doing that. We'll be doing workshops in partnership with Business Wales, Superfast Cymru, and other partners. Hopefully, we're hoping that the Princess Trust will be online pretty early days as well. So we'll be working with other partners to make sure there's more traditional kind of workshops. And there's plenty of other things that happen informally as well. So what we tend to find at ICE is that members say, do you mind if I hold this event about SEO, or do you mind if I hold this event about e-commerce, and that happens naturally as well. So there'll be like the formal stuff and then the informal stuff that hopefully happens as we've seen in Caerphilly.
Right.
Cool. Any other questions?
I was just wondering, with the first group of people that are going to start, I mean, how much of an idea of their business do you need to have? Does it have to have like a proper business plan and things like that, or can you just say, I've got this idea for business, how does that work?
Yeah, no, it's no, we're hoping that we'll help you take that idea on, on that journey. So we don't expect people to rock up with a very detailed business plan and cash flow. We expect to have an understanding of what that business could generate, and we will help you to do a basic cash flow, because as Gareth said, you've got to make a living out of this eventually. And you might have a period of time where you can just work on that idea because you're supported in another way. But yes, it's about the idea, the strength of the idea, and the commerciality of that idea. But our job is to help you on that journey. What we will do, and we're very honest, sometimes people will come and say, oh, I want a full-time place at ICE. We'll listen and we'll talk and we'll have a coffee, and we'll actually say, do you know what, spend 12 weeks on the 5 to 9 clubs, so start doing some light activity and then build up to being with us full-time. So it's very flexible. Every case is individual. The community manager, my job, a bit of Gareth when he's around, it's about us sitting down and drawing that out of you. So it's very flexible.
So what do you mean by being full-time? Is that like having a unit?
Well, a desk, we have people that maybe have digital businesses or businesses which need them to be sat at their desk. I imagine a lot of the time that shouldn't be the case, because you should be out generating sales, you should be out having meetings with other partners. But yeah, we're saying that if you need a home to grow your business and you want to be in that environment, then you can be there part-time in the evenings, you could be there 1 day a week, or you could actually, route yourself to a desk and if that's what your business needs to build that business.
So cost of that?
No.
Yeah. That's the kicker, right?
Yeah,
we've got you now.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean about the support that we've had from Welsh Government and from the CABSEC has enabled us to be able to give 12 months fully funded for that support.
So that's only 12 months though, but after that you have to pay for it?
We're looking at how we can support beyond that 12 months. So the idea is that we kind of, at this point, we're looking at a pilot of what that looks like for what we see in the community. We tend to find about 60% stay, and then the rest go on either to take new premises or da-da-da. But in Caerphilly, we've got other spaces they can move into. So really, the idea is that we'll work with, based on what you want. If you want to stay in that kind of environment, we'll try and find a way for that to work as well.
Because I don't think I can do this 5 to 9 club this time round, but maybe will you be running a similar thing?
Yeah, it'll be, as I said, once the centre's open, I imagine this is just going to be a rolling programme.
Yeah.
Okay, it's as I said, Gareth already said we're going to be open early-ish, late-ish, but we'll have 1 or 2 nights a week that are particularly late, and we're definitely going to be open Saturdays from the start as well. And once the team's in place, and that we can staff it, so we'll be there on Saturdays as well. But yeah, no, I imagine this is going to be a rolling programme. We might have a Saturday morning club, we might have a Thursday night club, we might, So as Gareth said, this is a pilot. We know what we know from Caerphilly, we know what we know from our community that we built down there. It's not going to be 100% the same, so we're going to need you guys and anybody that comes along to help us map out this pilot, because we need to prove to the guys that have put the money into this that there's success, and we do it. It does sound corny, but it's true. We need you guys to help us make this pilot happen and provide what it needs to be a success.
We need, this is fundamental, we need the community behind us.
Yeah.
If we don't have what worked in Caerphilly, what's worked in other things we've done, is having the community behind us. And that's not everyone just cheering and waving and only giving us positive. Being a critical friend is as important to us. So we just need to know that if what we're doing is wrong, if what we're doing could be better, that we know that we've got people who can speak to us straight.
A very quick question. Will the slide be up on the whole presentation? Because people like to see things black and white.
We have been streaming on Facebook. I don't know if there was a technical issue. Yeah.
It was at the beginning, it's fine.
Cool. We've been streaming this on our Facebook page, so if you find Welsh Ice on Facebook, it'll be on there. Or Wrexham.com will have exclusive coverage following the completion of this programme. Cool.
If you're on benefit, can you participate in the programme?
From our perspective, yeah, we don't restrict anyone.
Okay.
From their perspective,
What's the experience in criteria?
from our perspective, we find if they're on the NEA, it's okay.
Okay.
But we work closely with like people.
Yeah, TWP and job centre. So the enterprise allowance obviously is a key factor that might bring people to the centre. So
We'll say the 9 till 5.
on the 5
till 9 club.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
again that it's fine.
Yeah, so sorry, NEA's new enterprise allowance. So it's a form benefit to help you to start a business. I realise I'm using that rubbish jargon.
Again,
But no one else
you
might.
know, we don't want to be excluding anybody. You know,
Yeah.
just because maybe you've been made redundant or you're out of work, it doesn't mean you're not sitting on a great business idea and you couldn't, you know, become self-employed and take yourself off benefits and support yourself with the right business idea. So we treat everybody, you know, the same.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Just one question. Does
Yep.
anybody specialise in sort of e-commerce, retail?
Yeah, we've got in Caerphilly we have a bunch of people who work on e-commerce, and in terms of our mentor network as well, we'll be aiming to bring up a lot of our established network and obviously building a new network locally. So yeah, we've got people who've got platforms who obviously trade internationally as well. So yeah, we can connect you with them. Cool.
I think just one other name. I think I was trying to think of all the people we should have named, but obviously part of the Business in Focus and Welsh Government is Anti-Tivy. So some of you might know Anti-Tivy as being a North Wales business support, very active in North Wales. Again, they're working with us. I just want to make sure we don't exclude anybody that's really been helping us because we've had Jill, have we missed anybody?
Business focus, Welsh Government,
Anti-Tivy, right, okay. Yeah, no, it's important because again, they will be working really hard alongside us to make this a success. So we're around now.
Yeah, we're
at least half an hour. So
we've got loads of coffee from King Street still here.
Yes.
It's got to go, and loads of biscuits. So yeah,
Biscuits.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you.